Welcome to the Reckoning podcast, where we stoke a campfire, gather around, and have real-life conversations with old friends, new friends, professionals, and just shoot the shit. Reckoning all things from hunting, outdoors, beauty, entrepreneurship, relationships, life, and more. It's all just a reckoning. I am back with another mini episode for a recipe. Honestly, I know the Super Bowl is coming up. The Packers didn't make it, so who cares at this point anyways? I don't know when it is. If it's this weekend or next weekend, regardless, I know that appetizers are obviously it just goes hand in hand when it comes to football games or hanging out and parties. However, I don't have an appetizer recipe for you necessarily. I have a couple good appetizers, but I'm just going to be quite honest with you. I did not prep as well as I wanted to for this episode. So I'm going to share with you an oldie but a goodie for a recipe because we are still in soup and chili season. I mean, we're in February, and also this one just hits no matter what. And it's a slow cooker, so it doesn't get any better than that. I also think this would make for a pretty kick-ass way to have a party, if you ask me. It goes in the slow cooker, so your oven is freed up for the other things that you're going to be cooking. It feeds a crowd, which is always a plus. You'll have leftovers, and it's healthy. You can also make a chili bar. Have you ever done a chili bar? All your favorite fixins and let people build their own. Or you could put this, oh my gosh, you could put this over your French fries, over your nachos. I mean, there's all kind of options, and you could essentially make this an appetizer. As you know, around here, I love to share my recipes using the meat that we have or we've harvested. And so I'm going to show you how to make elk or venison, it doesn't really matter, chili. And it's easy, and it's a hearty slow cooker chili recipe. Let's get into it. This recipe could be made with any of your wild game. I personally made it with elk, deer, bison, and I believe antelope as well. But take what you have in your freezer, see what you've got, and let it thaw out and get into this recipe. When it comes to, if you're someone that's I'm not into cooking venison or elk, you're in the right place. My thing with honestly cooking anything, whether it's chicken or venison, I always say to use spices. I don't know why people are so afraid of using spices, and it literally can elevate your cooking. I will say also, by doing this, our friends and family that say they don't like venison, wild game, most of the time, they do not believe that's what they're eating, or they are not able to tell because it doesn't have that gamey taste that they're used to. Again, because we're kind of just incorporating it into a recipe like we would anything else. Before we get into it, I will just remind you that I would give this recipe a try for cool weather days. This is great to prep for meal prep, or if you just want to freeze if you have something coming up and you need to have kind of some meals prepped and ready to go. This is great for freezing. It's also really delicious paired with scones or cornbread, or like I said, you could make chili cheese fries. I mean, the options are endless. Just a reminder, if you want to get the recipe, you can find it below in the show notes. Remember, you just open the app that you're listening to us on and you scroll up in the episode that you're listening to, and you should see show notes below. It'll say get the recipe here, and you can find the recipe there. If you need to print it out, save it. If you make it, please leave a comment on the website. It helps so that Google pushes it higher up into the search history for somebody that's looking for it. Or you can go to thereckoningpodcast.com/slow-cooker elk venison-chili. Or like I said, go to the show notes, swipe up, and just push get the recipe. This is a big batch of chili. Keep that in mind when you hear the ingredients. So again, great for the crowd or for meal prep. Did you decide in 2023 that you are going to take your health and your wellness more seriously? I hope so. If you have, and you are looking for something to help elevate that experience and honestly make it that much more simple as well, kind of a no-brainer, you need to be checking out Mountain Ops. I know if you've listened to the podcast that we are long time lovers of Mountain Ops, and there is a reason. Not only do we love their products, but we love the mission behind the company. Not only do they have the best supplements and gear out there that are designed for the athlete and hunter in mind, but every time a purchase is made at mountainops.com, a nutritious meal is prepared for a child in need. That is done with the Operation Conquer Hunger team that works with charity partners to manufacture a nutritious meal. The charity partners work with a validated organization and local governments to transport and distribute, and meals are given to children in need. This is all from mountainops.com. If you weren't already looking for some nutrition and supplements, that mission alone should make you want to go over to mountainops.com and take a look. If you are wanting to know our favorites over at the podcast, you know we love their Ignite, the supercharged energy and focus. This is fantastic to put in your pack, especially as we get going into shed hunting season. You're going to want these. Seriously, it gives you that boost of energy that is good, clean energy instead of those stupid energy drinks that you have in your pack. And then, of course, you know we love their protein bars. Again, easy to throw in your backpack, and they are seriously like the softest, they're like a soft, baked, delicious bar that you can always reach for in your backpack. And even my kids love these, which says a lot. And of course, at night, you know you're trying to cut back on those drinks or just having a hard time going to sleep and you're needing a little bit of that help or some recovery, you have to check out my favorite, the Slumber for deep sleep recovery, that has a special blend of magnesium and melatonin, and you wake up rejuvenated. There's none of this grogginess the next day. If you want to support the show and see what Mountain Ops is all about, go to mountainops.com and you can shop all of their nutrition and gear. And don't forget to use the code Britt Free Ship to get your free shipping and help support the show. Again, that's Britt, BRITT, Free Ship, to get your free shipping. All you're going to need for ingredients is 1 pound of venison hamburger and 2 pounds of venison sausage. Mild or hot is great. If you need a sausage recipe, if you don't have sausage on hand, we typically will get usually half of one of our animals made into sausage. If you need a recipe, I have that linked in the ingredients as well. Then you're going to need one 15-ounce can of black beans with the juice, one 15-ounce can of pinto beans with the juice, one 15-ounce can of diced tomatoes with the juice. And then you're going to need 1 green pepper, 4 green onions, a half a cup of cilantro, fresh, obviously, 1 jalapeno, or you can, if you have it on hand, I've done this before because I did not have a jalapeno, you can use 2 teaspoons of the Colonel Seasons cheesy jalapeno seasoning. It's usually located it's a popcorn seasoning. It worked and it was really delicious. Then you're also going to need a half a tablespoon of ground mustard, 1.5 tablespoons of chili powder, and 2 teaspoons of Tapatio hot sauce or Cholula, whatever your hot sauce is. This is kind of optional if you aren't into heat. However, I will say it gives it just a kiss of like enough little spice. It's not like overpowering. And then obviously some extra virgin olive oil for cooking if your meat is like ours and super lean. How to make it? Super easy. This takes like 10 minutes and then it slow cooks. First, you're going to want to brown the hamburger and sausage in a pan. Again, if needed, you can use that olive oil in the bottom. While the meat is browning, dice the green pepper. I like to keep the seeds to add in to the chili. And then in a pan on medium heat with olive oil, put the diced green pepper and their seeds into the pan to allow it to golden and get tender. This will get the juices flowing and create a great mild spicy flavor from the seeds. Once the meat is brown, you can place that into your slow cooker. You can then add your cooked green pepper and the seeds to the meat mixture in the slow cooker. You'll also want to chop up the cilantro, green onion, and add that to the slow cooker, and then combine the black beans, pinto beans, and diced tomatoes along with their juices to the slow cooker, and then season everything with your seasonings that I mentioned, the ground mustard, chili powder, and hot sauce. Again, you'll want to add your jalapeno or that Colonel Seasons cheesy jalapeno seasoning. And then you'll just kind of combine it all together, and you'll keep that on low heat in a slow cooker and allow all the flavors to combine for about 2 to 4 hours before you serve. Easy. We love an easy recipe. We're like at 5 minutes talking about it. As I said, this is great to be able to take with you to a party or just to be able to serve a large crowd. And this is great. I honestly think with chilies and soups, I think with most of them, they taste better a day or two later. Like once everything's got to kind of just marinate together and those flavors really combine. So this could be something that you make ahead before you go to a party, or this is fantastic for cooking or for camping and then freezing and then getting out later in the week and having at camp. You can serve this in a bowl with sour cream, your favorite toppings, and just eat it like that. Or like we said, feel free to dip into it, add it on top of something, serve with cornbread or scones. If you need to see all the ingredients listed and the instructions, please visit the website. Again, you can find that below or go to thereckoningpodcast.com and recipes and look for the easy slow cooker venison chili recipe. And I hope you enjoy. I would love to hear if you guys are liking these little mini episodes when it comes to recipes. It would be super helpful. I was pretty excited to see that the last one that we did with the poor man's lobster made with halibut or cod did really well. So I figured, you know what, we'll hop on and do another one. If you make any of these recipes or any of the recipes from our website, please be sure to tag us. It really helps spread the word about the podcast and our website. You can tag us at Brittney.Long or at The Reckoning Podcast or at Britt, Britt, Reckoning on TikTok. And it just kind of helps spread the word of the podcast. Referrals are everything, as you know. Please let me know if there's a recipe you want me to share that you've seen us make before or something you want me to try. We've got a lot of fun recipes down the pipeline that now that it's getting warmer and we've got the time and we know that you guys are into the recipes, we will be sure to be creating those and putting them out. I'll chat with you guys next week. Please don't forget to subscribe. If you're listening to us on Apple Podcasts, leave a 5-star rating and review. It seriously helps more than you know. If you took something away from this podcast or you enjoyed it, please take a screenshot of you listening to it or a selfie and tag us on Instagram at The Reckoning Podcast or me at Brittney.Long. We're excited to chat with you next week.